The world beneath the microscope. Sophie was an ordinary girl with an extraordinary love for science. Every day after school, she would rush home, dive into her collection of books, and read about the marvels of the world around her. She had a natural curiosity that seemed to never be satisfied. She always wanted to know more. Her bedroom was filled with science kits, posters of the solar system, and most importantly, her pride and joy, a sleek, polished microscope that her parents had given her for her birthday. But one day, something very unusual happened. It was an afternoon like any other. The sun was setting, casting a golden light through Sophie's bedroom window. She was preparing to inspect a new sample she had collected, a droplet of pond water, which, according to her biology teacher, was teeming with tiny life forms too small for the naked eye to see. Excitedly, she placed the slide under her microscope and adjusted the lenses. As she turned the fine focus knob, she noticed something peculiar. The image in the eyepiece was becoming sharper than usual, but something about it seemed strange, too vivid, too lifelike. Suddenly, the microscope started to hum softly, its lenses glowing with an eerie blue light. Sophie stepped back, startled. "That's strange," she muttered, glancing at the microscope. It had never done that before. Curiosity outweighed her caution. Sophie leaned closer, peering through the eyepiece again. The moment her eye made contact, she felt a strange sensation, like the room was spinning around her. She tried to pull away, but it was too late. She was shrinking. The world around her grew larger and larger until she was no bigger than a pinhead. She looked around, wide-eyed, and realized she had somehow been transported inside the world beneath the microscope. The familiar view of her bedroom was gone, replaced by an alien landscape filled with strange, towering structures that loomed above her. Sophie gasped in awe. She was standing in what looked like a vast, jelly-like forest made up of giant cells. These weren't just any cells. She recognized them from her biology book. They were plant cells, the rigid walls around her, the green chloroplast floating inside, and the web-like structure of the cell membrane were all magnified thousands of times. "Wow," Sophie whispered to herself. "I'm inside a cell." As she walked through this microscopic world, she marveled at the detail she could now see up close. The chloroplasts, which gave the plant its green color, were spinning and floating inside the cell fluid, producing energy from sunlight. In the distance, she could see something massive moving, organelles, the tiny organs of the cell, hard at work. Just as Sophie was getting her bearings, she heard a rustling sound. She spun around to see a strange creature approaching her. It was small but seemed to move with purpose. As it got closer, Sophie recognized it, a bacterium. But this bacterium wasn't harmful. It seemed curious about her. "Hello," the bacterium said, surprising Sophie. Its voice was squeaky but kind. "You can talk?" Sophie asked, amazed. "Of course I can," the bacterium replied. "Welcome to the microscopic world. I'm Bacton. Who are you?" "I'm Sophie. I was just using my microscope. And then, well, now I'm here." Bacton nodded. "You've been chosen by the magic of the microscope. It allows you to explore the hidden world that most humans never see. There's so much to discover." Sophie's excitement grew. "Can you show me around? I want to learn everything." "Absolutely," Bacton said, smiling. "Let's start with the basics. You see, this place is the building block of all life. Everything you see around you, the plants, the animals, even you, are made up of cells like these." As they walked deeper into the cell, Bacton pointed out various organelles. "This is the nucleus, the brain of the cell. It controls everything that happens here," Bacton explained, pointing to a large, round structure in the center of the cell. Sophie could see tiny strands of DNA swirling inside, carrying the genetic instructions for the plant's growth and development. "And over there, those are mitochondria. They are like the power plants of the cell. They take in nutrients and produce energy." Sophie listened intently, absorbing all the information like a sponge. "So this is how life works on a microscopic level," she said in wonder. Bacton smiled. "Exactly. Every living thing is made up of cells, and each cell has its own job to do. But there's still so much more to see." Sophie was eager to continue her exploration. But as they walked, she noticed something strange. A shadow passed over them, and the air seemed to grow heavier. Sophie turned to Bacton, who suddenly looked worried. "We need to leave," Backtun whispered urgently. "Something's coming." Before Sophie could ask what was wrong, a massive structure loomed into view. It was long, snake-like, and moving fast. Sophie's heart raced. "What is that?" "It's a virus," Backtun cried. "We need to get out of here before it infects the cell." Sophie's adrenaline kicked in as she and Backtun sprinted toward the edge of the cell. The virus, a sinister-looking particle with spindly legs and a head that looked like a spaceship, was closing in fast. Sophie could see it attaching itself to the cell membrane, injecting its genetic material into the cell. "Can't we stop it?" Sophie asked, breathless. Backtun shook his head. "Viruses are tricky. They're not alive in the traditional sense, but they can hijack the cell's machinery to reproduce themselves. Once they get inside, it's hard to stop them." Just as Sophie was starting to panic, a bright flash of light enveloped them. The world around her shifted again, and suddenly, they were no longer in the plant cell. They were in a new environment, an animal cell. Sophie blinked in confusion. What happened? The microscope must have sensed the danger and moved us to another part of the microscopic world, Backtun explained. "We're safe for now, but we'll need to be careful." As Sophie looked around, she noticed that this cell was different from the plant cell. There were no rigid cell walls, and the organelles looked slightly different. Backtun continued to explain the differences between plant and animal cells, but Sophie's mind was racing. This wasn't just an adventure. This was an opportunity to learn about life itself. Each world she entered through the microscope revealed something new about how living things were connected. Over the next few hours, Sophie and Backtun traveled from cell to cell, learning about the fascinating world of microorganisms. They encountered friendly bacteria that helped plants grow, witnessed the complex dance of cell division, and even ventured into the bloodstream, where they saw red and white blood cells hard at work. But the most important lesson Sophie learned was how everything in the microscopic world was interconnected. Cells, bacteria, viruses, and other microorganisms all played a role in maintaining the balance of life. Even the tiniest organisms had a purpose. As their journey came to an end, Sophie felt a deep sense of gratitude for the magic microscope. It had shown her a world she never knew existed, a world that was always there, hidden in plain sight. Before returning to her normal size, Sophie turned to Backtun. "Thank you for showing me this incredible world. I've learned so much." Backtun smiled. "You've only scratched the surface, Sophie. There's still so much more to explore. Remember, life is full of mysteries, both big and small. And with curiosity and an open mind, you can solve them all." With those words, the magic of the microscope activated once more, and Sophie found herself back in her bedroom, the familiar sights and sounds of the world around her returning to normal. She looked at the microscope, now just an ordinary tool once again, and smiled. She knew that her adventure wasn't over. Every time she peered into that lens, she would be reminded of the incredible world that existed beneath the surface, the world beneath the microscope. And as she drifted off to sleep that night, she dreamed of her next adventure, eager to return to the microscopic world and uncover even more of its secrets.
Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into la land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into la land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drifting to the land on gentle feet.
Sammy's solar system adventure. Sammy was an ordinary boy with an extraordinary dream: to explore the vast reaches of outer space. From a young age, he had been fascinated by the night sky, always asking questions about the twinkling stars and the glowing moon. His room was filled with books about space, models of planets, and posters of astronauts. But Sammy wanted more than just pictures and stories. He wanted to see the universe with his own eyes. One bright afternoon, as Sammy gazed out of his window at the wide blue sky, an idea struck him like a bolt of lightning. "I'm going to build a rocket," he declared. With a notebook in hand, he began sketching designs, listing all the things he would need: fuel, strong metal for the ship's body, and a computer to help him navigate through the stars. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. But Sammy didn't give up. He worked tirelessly, gathering parts, learning about physics, and finally, after much determination, his rocket stood tall in his backyard. Painted a gleaming silver, it was the perfect vessel for his grand adventure. Sammy named it the Star Seeker. With his trusty spacesuit on, helmet securely fastened, and a backpack filled with snacks, Sammy climbed into the cockpit. His heart pounded with excitement as he counted down the seconds. 3, 2, 1, liftoff! The rocket's engines roared to life, and with a sudden jolt, Sammy was soaring through the sky, leaving Earth behind. He watched as the clouds melted away, revealing the stars he had always dreamed of. "Time for an adventure," Sammy whispered to himself, grinning from ear to ear. Journey to Mercury. Sammy's first stop was the smallest planet in the solar system, Mercury. As his rocket approached, he marveled at the planet's surface, which was covered in craters and looked much like Earth's moon. Landing gently, Sammy stepped out onto the planet's surface and immediately felt the extreme heat from the sun. "Phew! It's boiling here," Sammy exclaimed, wiping sweat from his brow. Mercury, being the closest planet to the sun, had temperatures that could roast a marshmallow in seconds. But Sammy had come prepared. With his specially designed cooling suit, he could explore the surface without overheating. As he walked across the barren landscape, Sammy noticed how Mercury had no atmosphere to speak of. The sky above him was black, even though it was daytime. No air means no clouds, no wind, and no protection from the sun's heat, Sammy muttered to himself, recalling his lessons on planetary science. After a day of exploring Mercury's craters, Sammy learned a valuable lesson: the importance of atmosphere. Earth's atmosphere didn't just give him air to breathe, it protected him from the sun's intense rays and allowed life to thrive. With newfound respect for his home planet, Sammy hopped back into the Star Seeker and set course for his next destination: Venus, the twin of Earth. Next, Sammy made his way to Venus, often called Earth's sister planet because of their similar size and composition. But as soon as he got close, Sammy realized that Venus was nothing like Earth. Thick clouds of yellowish gas swirled over its surface, and lightning crackled through the sky. "Yikes!" Sammy said, tightening his seatbelt as turbulence rocked his rocket. He put on his space helmet and braced himself for a rough landing. As the Star Seeker touched down, Sammy could barely see anything through the dense, acidic fog that covered the planet. Stepping outside, Sammy felt the intense pressure of Venus's thick atmosphere. It was like being deep underwater, and the air was so toxic that no human could survive without protection. The ground beneath him was cracked and dry, with lava flows winding through the rocky surface. "This place is a real furnace," Sammy thought, learning that Venus was even hotter than Mercury, thanks to its runaway greenhouse effect. Carbon dioxide trapped heat in the atmosphere, making it the hottest planet in the solar system. Sammy made sure to document everything in his notebook. As he prepared to leave Venus, Sammy thought about how fragile Earth's environment was. He understood now why scientists worried about climate change. It could turn Earth into a hostile place, just like Venus. With a deeper appreciation for the delicate balance of life on Earth, Sammy blasted off once again, aiming for a planet that was much farther away and much colder. Mars, the red planet. Sammy's rocket sped through space, taking him toward Mars. As he approached, the planet's reddish hue grew brighter, and Sammy smiled with excitement. Mars had always been one of his favorite planets, not just because of its mysterious color but also because it was a prime candidate for future human colonization. He landed near the edge of a giant canyon, Vias Marineris, which stretched thousands of miles across the planet's surface. As he stepped out of his rocket, Sammy marveled at the landscape. It was dusty, dry, and cold, but there was something captivating about Mars. He knelt down and scooped up a handful of the famous Martian soil. Red dust, as far as the eye can see, Sammy said to himself, scanning the horizon. No water here, but scientists think there might be frozen ice below the surface. Maybe one day, people will live here. As he walked around, Sammy encountered towering volcanoes and ancient riverbeds, evidence that Mars might have once been a wetter, warmer planet. He even spotted the faint outline of Olympus Mons, the tallest volcano in the solar system. Sammy had packed a small rover in his rocket, and now he deployed it to explore the Martian surface with him. The rover's wheels kicked up dust as it rolled alongside him, beeping happily as it collected samples. After a long day of exploring, Sammy sat down to watch the sun set on the Martian horizon. The sky turned a deep blue, and the sun appeared as a small dot in the distance. Mars was a cold, barren world, but Sammy could see why people were so fascinated by it. Perhaps, one day, Mars would be a second home for humanity. As he climbed back into the Star Seeker, Sammy thought about how Mars was a reminder of what Earth could become if we didn't take care of our own planet. Jupiter, the gas giant. Leaving the rocky planets behind, Sammy's next stop was the largest planet in the solar system, Jupiter. As his rocket approached, Sammy's eyes widened in awe. Jupiter was a massive ball of swirling gas, with bands of orange, brown, and white wrapping around its surface. And there, in the midst of it all, was the Great Red Spot, a colossal storm that had been raging for centuries. "Wow, that storm is bigger than Earth," Sammy exclaimed, staring at the swirling vortex through the window of his rocket. Jupiter didn't have a solid surface like the other planets. Instead, it was made mostly of gas, and its thick atmosphere was full of violent storms and powerful winds. Sammy didn't land on Jupiter itself. Instead, he set his rocket to orbit the planet while he observed the swirling clouds and the lightning flashes deep within the atmosphere. While orbiting, Sammy also got a glimpse of Jupiter's many moons. One, in particular, caught his attention: Europa. Covered in a thick layer of ice, Europa was one of the most promising places in the solar system to search for life. Scientists believed there might be a vast ocean of liquid water beneath the ice, and where there was water, there could be life. Sammy made a mental note to come back and explore Europa more thoroughly in the future. For now, he focused on learning more about Jupiter itself. He studied the planet's intense magnetic field, its many swirling storms, and its immense size. As the Star Seeker continued its journey, Sammy realized just how small Earth was in comparison to the gas giants like Jupiter. It made him appreciate his home planet even more. Saturn and its rings. Sammy's next destination was Saturn, the second largest planet in the solar system and famous for its stunning rings. As the Star Seeker approached, Sammy was mesmerized by the sight of the planet's rings, which glowed brightly against the backdrop of space. The rings were made up of countless particles of ice and rock, ranging in size from tiny specks to massive chunks. Sammy's rocket glided through the outer edges of the rings, and he watched in amazement as the ice particles sparkled like diamonds. Landing on one of Saturn's many moons, Titan, Sammy was greeted by a thick, orange haze. Titan was the only moon in the solar system with a dense atmosphere, and it was full of lakes and rivers, not of water, but of liquid methane and ethane. Sammy explored the icy moon, learning about its bizarre weather patterns and the possibility that life could exist in such an alien environment. This place is so different from Earth, Sammy thought, but it's also full of potential. From his vantage point on Titan, Sammy gazed up at Saturn's rings, wondering how such a beautiful planet could exist in the cold depths of space. He knew that Saturn, like the other gas giants, didn't have a solid surface, but its moons were full of mysteries waiting to be explored. The outer reaches. With Saturn behind him, Sammy set his sights on the outer planets, Uranus and Neptune. These distant, ice-cold worlds were shrouded in mystery, but Sammy was determined to learn as much as he could. As he approached Uranus, Sammy was struck by its pale blue color and the fact that it rotated on its side, unlike any other planet in the solar system. He learned that this was likely due to a massive collision long ago that had knocked the planet over. Neptune, the farthest planet from the sun, was a beautiful deep blue, with fierce winds and massive storms raging across its surface. Sammy's rocket flew through Neptune's thin atmosphere, and he marveled at the planet's intense storms, which were even more powerful than those on Jupiter. As Sammy ventured further from the sun, he noticed how cold and dark space had become. The sun was just a distant point of light, barely warming the icy planets he now explored. Returned to Earth. After months of exploration, Sammy knew it was time to return home. His rocket, the Star Seeker, had taken him on an incredible journey through the solar system. He had visited planets, moons, and even asteroids, learning about the vast and diverse worlds that made up the universe. As the Star Seeker entered Earth's atmosphere, Sammy felt a wave of relief and excitement wash over him. He had seen wonders beyond his wildest dreams, but there was nothing quite like the feeling of coming home. Touching down in his backyard, Sammy stepped out of the rocket and looked up at the night sky. The stars twinkled above him, just as they always had, but now they seemed even more magical. He had been to the farthest reaches of the solar system, but he knew that there was still so much more to explore. As Sammy lay in bed that night, he dreamed of future adventures. Perhaps one day, he would travel beyond the solar system to distant galaxies, where even more mysteries awaited. But for now, he was content, knowing that the universe was a vast, wondrous place, and that he had only just begun to scratch the surface of its secrets.
Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into the land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into the land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into the land on gentle feet.
The quest for the knowledge stones. In a faraway land called Eldoria, where mountains kissed the sky and rivers sparkled like jewels, lived a young warrior named Myra. With fiery red hair, bright green eyes, and an unquenchable thirst for adventure, Myra was known throughout her village for her bravery and curiosity. One day, as the sun rose over the shimmering horizon, a mysterious traveler visited Eldoria. The traveler, an elderly sage with a long, silver beard, shared tales of the legendary knowledge stones, magical stones scattered across the land, each containing the wisdom of the world. These stones, he explained, hold the power to teach valuable lessons in problem-solving, science, teamwork, and resilience. But they are not easily found. Myra's heart raced with excitement. "I want to find these stones," she exclaimed. The villagers gasped. It was a quest filled with dangers and challenges. Yet, Myra felt a calling deep within her. "Very well," the sage replied, a twinkle in his eye. "If you seek the knowledge stones, you must be prepared. Your journey will teach you more than just facts. It will shape you into the warrior you are destined to become." With her sword strapped to her back and her trusty bow slung over her shoulder, Myra set off into the wild. The sun warmed her face, and the wind whispered encouragement as she ventured toward the first stone. The first stone, The problem-solving stone. Myra's first destination was the Whispering Woods, known for its enchanting sounds and hidden paths. As she entered, the trees seemed to murmur secrets to one another. After a while, she reached a clearing where she found the first knowledge stone, a shimmering blue gem that pulsed with energy. However, guarding the stone was a clever fox named Lyra. To claim the problem-solving stone, you must solve my riddle, Lyra said with a playful glint in her eye. What has keys but cannot open locks? Myra furrowed her brow, thinking hard. She recalled the lessons her father had taught her about riddles. A piano, she exclaimed, a smile spreading across her face. Very clever, warrior. Lyra chuckled, and the stone glowed brightly. Take the stone, but remember, problem-solving requires both thought and creativity. With the problem-solving stone in hand, Myra felt a surge of knowledge. She continued her journey, eager to find the next stone. The second stone, the science stone. After a long trek through the woods, Myra arrived at the edge of the crystal caves, where the walls sparkled with colorful crystals. As she stepped inside, she marveled at the beauty surrounding her. However, the entrance to the cave was blocked by a giant boulder. Myra examined the boulder, realizing she would need more than brute strength to move it. She remembered her lessons about levers and pulleys. If I can find a long enough branch and some sturdy rope, I might be able to lift this, she said to herself. Searching the cave, she gathered materials and fashioned a lever. With determination, Myra pushed down on one end, and to her delight, the boulder began to lift. Using all her strength, she finally moved it aside. As she entered the cave, she spotted the science stone, a radiant green gem surrounded by shimmering crystals. You have proven your understanding of the natural world, a voice echoed through the cave. Take this stone, and may it inspire your quest for knowledge. With the science stone safely in her pack, Myra felt her confidence grow. She was one step closer to her goal. The third stone, the teamwork stone. Myra continued her journey to the stormy peaks, where strong winds howled and clouds swirled above. As she climbed higher, she stumbled upon a group of birds struggling to build a nest. Their twigs kept blowing away in the wind. Myra approached cautiously. Can I help you? She offered. The leader of the birds, a wise old eagle named Kale, looked at her with tired eyes. We need to gather enough twigs and sticks to build our nest, but the wind makes it difficult. Myra thought for a moment. Why don't we work together? I can use my bow to reach high branches, and you can gather twigs from the ground. The birds chirped in agreement, and together they worked tirelessly. Myra shot her arrows into the trees, retrieving sturdy branches while the birds gathered twigs. Soon, with teamwork, they constructed a beautiful nest. Kale looked at Myra with admiration. You have shown us the true power of teamwork. The teamwork stone is yours, he declared, presenting her with a golden gem. As Myra held the stone close, she felt the warmth of collaboration. She thanked the birds for their friendship and continued her quest, eager to find the final stone. The fourth stone, the resilience stone. Myra traveled to the enchanted forest, where ancient trees stood tall, their leaves shimmering with magic. However, a fierce storm swept through, and the forest was in chaos. Trees were uprooted, and the path was blocked by fallen branches. Determined to press on, Myra looked around. I can't give up now, she said, her spirit unwavering. She began clearing the path, using her sword to chop away at the branches. With each swing, she reminded herself that resilience was about persevering through challenges. Hours passed, but finally, the path was clear. As she pushed through the last barrier, Myra spotted the resilience stone, a brilliant red gem glowing amidst the debris. You have faced adversity with courage, a gentle voice whispered, revealing itself to be the spirit of the forest. Take this stone, and let it remind you that resilience is the key to overcoming any obstacle. Myra clutched the stone tightly, filled with gratitude for the lessons learned. With all 4 knowledge stones now in her possession, she began her journey home, her heart brimming with wisdom. The return home. As Myra approached her village, the sun dipped low in the sky, casting a warm golden glow. The villagers gathered to welcome her back, eager to hear about her adventures. Myra stood before them, holding the knowledge stones aloft. I have learned so much on my quest. Each stone represents a lesson that we can all use in our lives. With enthusiasm, she shared her tales. The importance of problem solving, the wonders of science, the strength of teamwork, and the power of resilience. The villagers listened, captivated by her stories and the shimmering stones. Inspired by Myra's journey, the villagers decided to create a learning center where they could come together to share knowledge and wisdom. Myra felt a sense of fulfillment, knowing that her quest had not only transformed her but also her community. A legacy of knowledge. As the days turned into weeks, Myra continued to explore and learn. She used her knowledge stones to inspire others, teaching children how to think critically, solve problems, and work together. The village flourished as they embraced a culture of learning. Myra's adventures spread far and wide, and soon neighboring villages sent messengers, seeking her wisdom. With each visit, she shared stories of her quest and encouraged others to embark on their own journeys of discovery. Years passed, and Myra became known as the Guardian of Knowledge, a title she wore with pride. The knowledge stones, once mere gems, had transformed into symbols of hope and growth, reminding everyone that knowledge is a treasure to be shared. And so, the legacy of Myra and the knowledge stones lived on, inspiring generations to come. In a land where adventure awaited around every corner, Myra knew that the quest for knowledge never truly ends. As night fell over Eldoria, Myra would often sit by the fire, surrounded by eager listeners, recounting her adventures and sharing the lessons she had learned. Under the twinkling stars, she felt grateful for her journey, knowing that each challenge had shaped her into the warrior she had become. And in that magical land, filled with stories and wonder, the quest for knowledge continued to shine brightly, lighting the path for all who dared to dream. The end.
Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into la land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into la land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into the land on gentle feet.
The Chronicles of Wonder Woods. Once upon a time, nestled between rolling hills and sparkling streams, lay Wonder Woods, a magical forest that thrived beyond the understanding of most. Here, the animals could talk, plants could sing, and rivers could whisper secrets of the ages. The trees were ancient and wise, the flowers glowed at night, and the stars twinkled brighter when they peered down at this enchanted realm. Every inhabitant of Wonder Woods had a story, a lesson, or a piece of wisdom to share, and today, young readers will embark on a wondrous journey to learn from the animals and plants who called it home. The Great Owl and the Guardianship of the Sky. Deep within Wonder Woods lived Orion, the Great Owl, a majestic bird with feathers like shimmering bronze. Orion wasn't just the largest owl anyone had ever seen. He was also the guardian of the sky. Perched high on the tallest pine tree, he watched over the skies, ensuring the balance between day and night, wind and calm. One evening, a cold breeze rustled the leaves, and a small creature named Luna, a curious squirrel, scampered up to Orion. "Oh, Great Owl," she squeaked, "why does the wind howl so loudly tonight? It scares me." Orion swiveled his great head, his amber eyes glowing like lanterns. The wind tells a story, little one. It sings of distant lands, of trees far away, and the animals they cradle. When the wind howls, it's asking us to listen to the world outside Wonderwoods. We must listen and understand, for every gust carries a lesson. Luna's eyes widened as she listened to the soft whistles of the wind. But what lesson is the wind teaching us tonight? Orion spread his wings. Balance, dear Luna. The winds remind us that everything in nature is connected, and we must protect that balance. As the squirrels scampered away, a lesson rooted itself in her heart. She realized that the trees needed the wind to spread their seeds, just as the animals needed the trees for shelter. Everything was connected. The river of reflections. Beyond the trees, there flowed the magical Whispering River, which wound through Wonderwoods, carrying stories and wisdom from its crystal-clear waters. One of its most important keepers was a golden trout named Tiber, a fish as old as the river itself. He was known for his wisdom, and anyone who sought answers would go to the River of Reflections to consult him. One day, a young beaver named Bramble visited the river. Bramble had been building a dam upstream but had noticed something troubling. The river seemed slower, and the water lilies were beginning to wilt. He called out to Tiber for help. Tiber swam gracefully to the edge of the riverbank, where Bramble stood, looking worried. "What troubles you, young builder?" Tiber asked, his voice as smooth as the current. "It's the river," Bramble said, biting his lip. "It's not flowing as it used to, and the plants are suffering. What can we do?" Tiber gazed into the water, watching the ripples. The river is like the pulse of the woods. When it's blocked, everything around it suffers. You must learn to build in harmony with the river, allowing it to flow freely. Bramble nodded thoughtfully. "But I need to build my dam. How can I do both?" Tiber smiled, his golden scales glittering under the sunlight. "The key is moderation. Build a dam that allows the water to continue its journey. Remember, nature does not take more than it needs." The young beaver took the advice to heart, and with Tiber's guidance, he built a dam that was both sturdy and respectful of the river's flow. The water lilies soon bloomed again, and the animals who relied on the river for water and food thrived once more. The dancing fireflies and the night's secrets. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Wonderwoods came alive with a different kind of magic. In the twilight hours, tiny specks of light began to twinkle among the trees. The fireflies, who were not just creatures of the night, but keepers of secrets. One evening, young Bella, a shy rabbit, ventured out of her burrow to watch the fireflies dance. She had heard rumors that if you listened closely, the fireflies would whisper the secrets of the night. Mesmerized by their glowing bodies, she tiptoed toward the clearing, where the fireflies seemed to swirl in perfect harmony. "Hello," Bella whispered to the nearest firefly, her voice barely audible. "Is it true that you know the secrets of the night?" The firefly glowed brighter for a moment, as if in response, before softly landing on a leaf. "We know many things," the firefly replied, its voice a gentle hum. "The night is alive with stories, if you have the patience to listen." Bella's ears twitched. "What can you teach me?" The firefly circled around her, casting a soft glow over the clearing. "We teach that darkness is not something to fear. The night has its own beauty and purpose, just like the day. In the quiet of the night, the earth rests, the plants breathe, and the stars watch over us. Every part of nature has its time." As Bella watched the fireflies dance, she felt her fear of the dark melt away. She learned that nighttime, like the daytime, was filled with wonder and life. The brave ants and the lessons of unity. Near the heart of Wonderwoods lived a bustling colony of ants. These weren't just ordinary ants, but creatures of extraordinary strength and determination. They were led by a wise queen named Anthea, who taught her colony the importance of working together. One morning, a young fox named Fennel was playing near the anthill when he accidentally kicked over part of their home. Horrified, he watched as the ants scrambled to rebuild. "I'm so sorry," Fennel yelped, feeling terrible. "How can I help?" Anthea emerged from the anthill, her eyes calm and kind. "No need to fret, young fox. We ants are strong because we work together. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow." Fennel watched in amazement as the ants, undeterred by the damage, worked quickly and efficiently to rebuild their home. Within minutes, the anthill was restored. "But how do you stay so calm when things go wrong?" Fennel asked, marveling at their teamwork. Anthea smiled. We ants know that we are stronger together. When we face a problem, we rely on each other, and that makes us unstoppable. It's the power of unity. Inspired by the ants, Fennel realized that even the smallest creatures could teach great lessons. He promised to share what he learned with his friends, knowing that teamwork was a skill everyone needed. The talking trees and the circle of life. Wonder Woods wasn't just filled with animals. The plants were equally alive and vibrant. In the very center of the forest stood the oldest trees, majestic oaks and towering pines, their roots running deep into the earth. These trees were the keepers of time, having seen generations of creatures come and go. One day, a young fawn named Lila wandered into the heart of the woods. She had heard stories about the talking trees, but she had never seen them for herself. As she approached the towering oaks, she felt a strange sensation, like the forest was watching her. "Who comes to visit the ancient ones?" a voice rumbled, low and wise. Lila trembled but answered bravely, "I am Lila. I've come to learn from you." The trees rustled, their branches swaying in the breeze. "We are the guardians of the forest, the oldest living beings in Wonder Woods. We have seen everything, from the birth of the river to the first dawn. What would you like to know, young one?" Lila hesitated. "How do you stay so strong for so long?" The trees laughed softly. "Our strength comes from our roots, which connect us to the earth. We give back as much as we take. Our leaves fall and nourish the soil, which in turn feeds new life. Everything in nature is part of a circle, and when we respect that circle, we thrive." Lila gazed up at the towering trees, feeling humbled. "I'll remember that," she whispered. The Meadow of Whispers and the pollinators dance. Beyond the trees lay the Meadow of Whispers, a field so vibrant that it was home to hundreds of species of flowers, each more beautiful than the last. The flowers were tended to by bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds, who carried the magic of life from bloom to bloom. A young honeybee named Buzzy had recently joined the pollinators, and she was eager to prove her worth. One day, she met a human child named Oliver, who was visiting Wonder Woods with his family. "Hello," Oliver greeted. "What are you doing?" "I'm helping the flowers grow," Buzzy buzzed proudly. "Without me and my friends, these flowers wouldn't survive." Oliver looked confused. "How does that work?" Buzzy smiled. "We pollinate the flowers, carrying their seeds and helping them grow. Without us, the flowers wouldn't be able to spread. Every creature in the woods relies on us for food and beauty." Oliver watched in amazement as Buzzy flew from flower to flower, understanding for the first time how important even the smallest creatures were to the forest's survival.
Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into la land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into la land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into the la land on gentle feet.
The Science Circus, a magical adventure into the wonders of science. MIA could hardly contain her excitement as she hurried to the big top. The Science Circus had finally arrived in town, and she had heard whispers of its wondrous acts. But this wasn't just any circus. This was a place where magic met science, where gravity danced, firework colors sparked with chemistry, and performers turned science into an art form. MIA had always been fascinated by science, but school science lessons never felt as thrilling as what she imagined the science circus would be. Tonight, she would see science come to life. The grand tent was ablaze with light as MIA entered, the air thick with anticipation. Rows of seats encircled the central stage, and as the lights dimmed, a hush fell over the audience. The ringmaster, a tall man in a shining coat decorated with constellations and planets, stepped into the spotlight. Welcome, one and all, to the Science Circus, where the wonders of science will take you on a journey beyond your imagination. His voice was deep and rich, filling the tent with its energy. Tonight, you will witness acts of incredible skill, where every performance holds a scientific secret. Are you ready for a night of discovery? The crowd cheered, and MIA felt a surge of excitement. She couldn't wait to see what was in store. As the show began, the first performer stepped forward, Leo, the juggler of forces. He wore a brightly colored suit and had an air of playful mischief about him. Leo grinned at the crowd and began to juggle brightly lit spheres, each a different color. He started slowly, tossing a few balls into the air, and then the pace quickened. Soon, Leo had 10 balls spinning through the air in a dizzying dance. But then, he did something unexpected. He flung 2 of the balls into the air, higher than before, and let them fall. Instead of catching them, he let them bounce off the stage, and they rocketed back into the air as if they were filled with magic. But MIA knew it wasn't magic. She leaned forward in her seat, recognizing that Leo was demonstrating the power of gravity and momentum. The harder he bounced the balls, the higher they soared. As the crowd gasped in awe, Leo explained, "You see, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That's Newton's third law of motion. The force I use to throw the ball is returned when it hits the ground, sending it flying back up." MIA smiled, realizing she had learned it about Newton in class, but seeing it in action made the concept come alive. Leo continued to perform, demonstrating how varying the force on each ball changed the height and speed of their motion. By the end of the act, the entire audience was clapping in appreciation. But for MIA, the lesson in physics was just beginning to take root. Next up was a group known as the Electricians, a duo who dazzled the crowd with light and electricity. The performers, dressed in sparkling silver suits, stood on either side of a large metal coil that hummed with energy. "This," said one of the performers, "is a Tesla coil, named after the great scientist Nikola Tesla. It generates electricity and creates these beautiful arcs of lightning." As the coil hummed louder, arcs of lightning shot from the top, crackling through the air and lighting up the tent. Mia's eyes widened as she watched, mesmerized by the display of raw energy. The performers caught the lightning in special rods, guiding it safely across the stage, while explaining the science behind their act. Electricity moves through the air when there's a difference in charge, and it always seeks the easiest path to the ground, they said, moving closer to the coil. "With enough voltage, we can create these incredible lightning arcs." The electricians showed how electricity powers so many things in the world around us. MIA had never thought about how much science was behind the flick of a light switch, but here, she was seeing it in the most spectacular way. Later, the tent was plunged into darkness, and a new figure emerged, Clara, the fireworks alchemist. With a flourish, she lit a torch, and suddenly the stage exploded in a symphony of colors. Bright blues, vivid greens, and deep reds filled the sky above the audience. "This," Clara said, "is the magic of chemistry. Different chemicals produce different colors when they burn, and that's how we create fireworks." She held up a vial of powder. "This is copper sulfate. When I add it to the flame, watch what happens." She tossed the powder into the fire, and the flame turned a brilliant blue. Copper burns blue. "Now, let's see what happens when I use strontium nitrate." She added another powder, and the flames erupted in deep crimson. The crowd gasped in wonder. MIA was fascinated. She had never thought of fireworks as chemistry, but Clara explained it so simply. "Every element has a signature color when it burns," Clara said. "When we combine the right chemicals, we can paint the sky in any color we want." As Clara's act continued, MIA learned that the magic of fireworks wasn't magic at all. It was science, and chemistry was the artist's palette. As the night progressed, the science circus continued to amaze and inspire. There was Zane the acrobatic engineer, who swung from the trapeze while explaining the forces of tension and gravity that allowed him to defy what seemed like the impossible. As he flew through the air, Zane showed how engineering principles helped him build strong trapeze lines and sturdy platforms. The force of tension keeps the rope taut and strong enough to support my weight, Zane explained as he performed flips and turns high above the stage. If I understand the science behind it, I can make my performances safer and even more daring. MIA could barely believe how much science was involved in something as thrilling as acrobatics. Every flip, swing, and twist was carefully calculated, balancing risk with the principles of physics. It was a dance of motion and engineering, and Zane made it look effortless. The final act of the night was something truly special. The ringmaster stepped forward, a serious look in his eye. "Tonight, we will end with something that connects us all, the stars," he said, pointing up at the sky. The tent ceiling slowly peeled back, revealing a sky glittering with stars. "This," the ringmaster continued, "is the greatest mystery of all. The universe is vast, and every star you see is a distant sun, burning millions of miles away." The ringmaster raised his hand, and suddenly, glowing orbs floated above the stage, each representing a planet. In our solar system, we have 8 planets, each unique, each following its own orbit around the sun. And beyond that, who knows what wonders lie waiting? As the planets spun in graceful arcs, MIA watched in awe. The ringmaster explained how gravity kept the planets in orbit, how light from distant stars traveled millions of years to reach Earth, and how science was still unlocking the mysteries of the cosmos. As the science circus came to a close, MIA felt a sense of wonder that she had never felt before. She had learned so much in one night about physics, chemistry, electricity, and even the stars. But more importantly, she had discovered that science was not just something to study in books. It was alive, all around her, in every aspect of the world. The next morning, MIA woke up filled with inspiration. She couldn't stop thinking about the circus, about all the incredible things she had seen and learned. Her mind buzzed with questions, with curiosity, and with the desire to learn more. That day, she decided to start her own investigations. She built simple machines with her toys, watched videos about space, and even tried mixing food coloring to see if she could recreate the magic of Clara's fireworks. MIA realized that science wasn't just for school, it was everywhere, and she could explore it anytime she wanted. The science circus had opened her eyes to the magic of the world around her, and she couldn't wait for her next adventure into the mysteries of science. The end.
Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet. Drift into la land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet. Drift into la land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet. Drift into the la land on gentle feet.
The Secret Island of Inventions. Tom was an ordinary boy who loved inventing things in his backyard. His room was filled with all sorts of gadgets and tools, most of which he had crafted from odds and ends. But despite his passion for creating, none of his inventions ever seemed to work quite right. His self-made flying machine barely left the ground, and his robot always toppled over after taking a few steps. Tom often wondered if he'd ever be able to invent something truly extraordinary. One hot summer day, while exploring a nearby beach, Tom stumbled upon an old, rusted compass hidden beneath the sand. It looked ancient, but strangely enough, it still worked. The needle pointed unwaveringly toward the horizon, beyond the sea. Intrigued, Tom decided to follow the compass's direction. Little did he know, it was leading him to a place that would change his life forever. Tom set off in a small boat, following the compass. After what felt like hours, he spotted a misty island in the distance. As he drew closer, the island seemed to shimmer in the sunlight, and he noticed something unusual. Tall, strange-looking towers poking out from the dense trees, unlike anything he'd seen before. Stepping onto the sandy shore, Tom's eyes widened in amazement. The island was alive with the hum of activity. Machines whirred and buzzed all around him, and curious contraptions rolled by on wheels. It was as if the whole place was one giant workshop. What was this mysterious island? And who could possibly live here? "Welcome, young inventor," boomed a voice from behind him. Tom turned to see a tall man with wild white hair, wearing a pair of large goggles on his head. The man's smile was as bright as the sun. "I'm Thomas Edison," the man said with a chuckle. "And you, my boy, have just arrived at the secret island of inventions." Tom could hardly believe his ears. "Thomas Edison? The Thomas Edison?" "The very same," Edison replied. "And I'm not the only one. This island is home to the greatest inventors throughout history, each of us continuing our work, making the impossible possible. You've been chosen to visit and learn from us." Tom's heart raced with excitement. "But how? How is this possible?" Edison waved his hand. Well, let's just say this island exists outside of time, a special place for curious minds like yours. Follow me, and I'll show you around." As they walked through the island, Tom was introduced to incredible inventions everywhere he looked: flying machines, robots, giant mechanical animals, and more. He saw people working tirelessly, each creating something unique. "Here's our first stop," Edison said, leading Tom into a large, brightly lit room filled with strange devices. "Welcome to the workshop of Leonardo da Vinci." Tom's jaw dropped as he saw the legendary Leonardo, sketching furiously on a large piece of parchment. His drawings were intricate, filled with designs for machines that looked like they belonged in the future, not the past. A visitor," Leonardo exclaimed, looking up from his work. "You've come at just the right time. I'm designing a new flying machine. Would you like to see?" Tom nodded eagerly. He watched as Leonardo unveiled a model of his latest invention, a sleek, bird-like machine with wings that flapped gracefully. "Incredible!" Tom gasped. "But how does it fly?" Leonardo smiled. "It's all about understanding the balance between air and motion. Nature gives us clues if we know where to look. Birds, for example. They use their wings to generate lift, something I've been trying to replicate in my designs." Tom marveled at Leonardo's ability to think so far ahead of his time. "Can I help?" he asked. "Of course," Leonardo said, handing Tom a pencil. "We'll work together." For hours, Tom and Leonardo collaborated on improving the design. They tinkered with the mechanics, making small adjustments, and soon the flying machine was ready for a test flight. As the contraption soared gracefully into the sky, Tom felt a surge of pride. He had helped Leonardo da Vinci create something incredible. Before leaving, Leonardo shared a piece of advice that stayed with Tom. "Creativity is a key to invention. Never stop imagining, for it's our curiosity that pushes us to explore the unknown." As Tom left Leonardo's workshop, he felt inspired. But his adventure was only just beginning. Edison led him to another part of the island, where they entered a room filled with strange, shimmering glass tubes and glowing lights. A man sat hunched over a table, carefully adjusting wires and bulbs. "Meet Nikola Tesla," Edison said, introducing Tom to the man. "He's a master of electricity." Tesla looked up with a smile. A young inventor. Welcome. I've been working on a way to send electricity through the air without wires. Would you like to see?" Tom's eyes lit up. "Yes, please." Tesla guided Tom to a towering device in the center of the room. "This is a Tesla coil," he explained. "It creates high-voltage electricity. Watch closely." With a flick of a switch, the coil crackled to life, sending bolts of electricity shooting into the air. Tom watched in awe as the room filled with a dazzling display of light and energy. "This is amazing," Tom exclaimed. "How does it work?" Tesla smiled. "Electricity is all around us. My goal is to harness it in a way that can benefit everyone, without the need for wires or complicated systems. It's about thinking beyond the limitations of what we know." Tom spent the rest of the day working alongside Tesla, helping him fine-tune his experiments. Tesla's passion for discovery was contagious, and Tom found himself thinking about new ways to use electricity in his own inventions. "Remember, Tom," Tesla said as they wrapped up their work, "the future belongs to those who dream big and think outside the box. Never be afraid to push the boundaries of what's possible." With each inventor he met, Tom's excitement grew. He visited the workshop of Marie Curie, where he learned about the power of science and experimentation. Curie showed him how to carefully test hypotheses and record results, teaching him the importance of patience and persistence in scientific discovery. He also spent time with the Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur, who taught him about the thrill of flight. They showed him the principles of aerodynamics and how their relentless determination had led to the first successful airplane. As the days passed, Tom met more and more inventors, each one sharing their unique insights and experiences. He learned about Alexander Graham Bell's fascination with communication and how he invented the telephone to bridge the gap between people. He marveled at the engineering feats of Archimedes, who demonstrated the power of simple machines and how they could be used to solve complex problems. But one of the most profound lessons came from an unexpected source. While exploring the island's lush forests, Tom came across a small, quiet workshop nestled among the trees. Inside, an older man sat at a simple workbench, carving intricate designs into a block of wood. He didn't seem as famous as the other inventors Tom had met, but there was something captivating about his quiet focus. "Who are you?" Tom asked, curious. The man looked up with a kind smile. "I'm Benjamin Franklin," he said. "I'm known for many things, but here on the island, I like to focus on the simple pleasures of invention." Tom was puzzled. "But didn't you invent electricity and the lightning rod?" Franklin chuckled. "Yes, but invention isn't always about grand discoveries. Sometimes, it's about improving the little things in life, making the world a bit better in small ways." He handed Tom a small kite. "Do you know how I discovered the connection between lightning and electricity?" Tom nodded, remembering the famous story. "You flew a kite during a storm, and the lightning struck it." Franklin smiled. "That's right. But the lesson wasn't just about electricity. It was about curiosity and being willing to take risks. Every great invention starts with a simple question. What if?" As Tom flew the kite with Franklin, he realized that invention wasn't just about machines and technology. It was about curiosity, creativity, and a deep desire to understand the world. By the time Tom returned to the beach where his adventure had begun, he felt like a different person. He had learned so much from the inventors on the island, not just about their inventions, but about the mindset that drove them to create. As he set sail for home, Tom couldn't wait to apply everything he had learned to his own inventions. The island had taught him that every problem could be solved with a bit of creativity, curiosity, and persistence. And from that day forward, whenever Tom worked on a new invention, he remembered the lessons from the secret island of inventions. To think big, dream boldly, and never stop exploring the endless possibilities of the world. The end.
Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drifting to la land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, Drift into a lilac on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet. Drift into the lilac on gentle feet.
The Animal Rescue Squad. Once upon a time, in a small town nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, lived a group of adventurous children who shared a deep love for animals. Their names were Ella, Noah, Sophie, and Leo, and together they formed a team known as the Animal Rescue Squad. Each one of them had a special talent, and together they were unstoppable when it came to helping animals in need. One evening, as the golden sun set behind the hills, casting long shadows across the land, the four friends gathered in their secret clubhouse, hidden in the heart of the forest. Their clubhouse was a cozy place, built from recycled wood and decorated with posters of wild animals from all over the world. It was here that they planned their daring missions to save endangered species and protect ecosystems. As they sat around the table, Noah, who was an expert in technology, pulled up a global map on his tablet. "I just got a message from the World Wildlife Federation," he said, his eyes glowing with excitement. "There's an urgent situation in the Amazon rainforest. Some of the rare pink river dolphins have gone missing, and deforestation is threatening their habitat." Ella, the leader of the group and a skilled animal tracker, leaned in closer. "We have to go there immediately," she said. "The pink river dolphin is a critically endangered species, and without our help, they might not survive." Sophie, who loved plants and ecosystems, nodded in agreement. "The Amazon is a delicate ecosystem. If we don't do something soon, the destruction could cause a ripple effect, harming countless animals and plants." Leo, the youngest of the group but the bravest, jumped to his feet. "Let's pack our gear and head out. Those dolphins need us." With that, the Animal Rescue Squad sprang into action. They grabbed their backpacks filled with tools, maps, and supplies, and headed to the nearest wildlife research station, where a plane was waiting to take them to the Amazon rainforest. As they soared high above the clouds, the children talked excitedly about the mission ahead. The Amazon was home to countless species, from jaguars and toucans to sloths and frogs. They knew that every mission they embarked on was a race against time to save animals from the threats of habitat destruction, pollution, and illegal poaching. When they finally landed deep in the heart of the Amazon, the dense canopy of trees stretched endlessly in every direction. The air was thick with humidity, and the sound of distant birds and insects filled the jungle. Ella led the group as they trekked through the forest, following the winding path of the river where the pink dolphins were last seen. Along the way, they marveled at the towering trees, vibrant flowers, and the many creatures that called the rainforest home. "Look at that!" Leo exclaimed, pointing to a family of spider monkeys swinging from branch to branch above them. "The Amazon is full of life." "Yes," Sophie agreed. "But if deforestation continues, animals like these monkeys will have no place to live." As they walked, Noah used his tablet to track environmental changes. "The deforestation is worse than we thought," he said grimly, showing the group a map of the shrinking forest. "We need to stop it, or the dolphins and so many other animals will be at risk." Finally, they reached the riverbank, where they found a local biologist named Dr. Silva, who had been researching the pink river dolphins. She greeted the children with a warm smile. "I'm so glad you're here," she said. "The dolphins have been disappearing for weeks, and we believe illegal fishing nets might be to blame. We need to find them before it's too late." Ella wasted no time. "We'll start our search along the river. Noah, can you use your drone to help us scan the area?" Noah nodded and quickly launched a small drone into the air. The drone zipped along the river, capturing images and data as it flew. Meanwhile, Ella and Sophie examined the riverbank for any signs of the dolphins. "Look over here," Sophie called out, kneeling near the water's edge. "There are tracks leading into the river. These must be from the dolphins. Ella crouched down beside her. You're right, but the tracks look like they are heading downstream. Let's follow them. For hours, the group followed the river, searching for any sign of the missing dolphins. The sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the water. Just as they were about to lose hope, Noah's drone picked up movement in the distance. I've found something, he shouted, pointing to his screen. There's a group of dolphins trapped in a fishing net just ahead. The children rushed to the site, where they found several pink river dolphins struggling in the tangled net. Their smooth, silver-pink bodies glistened in the fading light as they tried desperately to free themselves. We have to act fast, Ella said, pulling out a knife to cut the net. Sophie, help me with this. Noah, see if you can track down who set these nets. While Ella and Sophie worked quickly to free the dolphins, Noah used his drone to search the surrounding area for any clues. Meanwhile, Leo kept a lookout for other dangers, like jaguars or crocodiles. After what felt like hours of tense work, the last of the dolphins swam free. The children watched in awe as the dolphins leaped joyfully out of the water, their sleek bodies breaking the surface in graceful arcs. We did it, Leo cheered. We saved them, but their mission wasn't over yet. Noah returned with grim news. I found the culprits. There's an illegal fishing operation set up further down the river. They've been using these nets to catch endangered species. Ella's expression hardened. We need to stop them. If they keep setting these nets, more dolphins and other animals will get caught. The next morning, the animal rescue squad, along with Dr. Silva, set out to confront the illegal fishing operation. With the help of local authorities, they managed to shut down the operation and destroy the harmful nets. The dolphins were safe, but the children knew that their work wasn't done. The Amazon, like many ecosystems around the world, was still in danger. We've saved these dolphins, Ella said as they packed up their gear. But there are so many more animals that need our help. Noah nodded. The deforestation, pollution, and illegal activities are still out there. We need to keep fighting. Sophie smiled, her eyes full of determination. And we will. As long as we work together, we can protect the animals and the planet. Their next adventure took them to the savannas of Africa, where they were called to help a group of elephants that were being threatened by poachers. The children were excited to see the wide, open plains and the majestic animals that roamed there. But they knew the dangers were real. When they arrived in Africa, they were greeted by a wildlife ranger named Bali, who told them about the situation. The poachers have been targeting our elephants for their tusks, she explained. We've lost several elephants already, and we fear more will be killed if we don't stop them. The children felt a deep sense of urgency. Elephants were not only endangered, but they were also a keystone species, meaning that their presence was vital to the health of the entire savanna ecosystem. We need to protect them, Ella said, her voice firm. We'll do whatever it takes. Barley nodded. I knew I could count on you. We've set up a plan to track the poachers and keep the elephants safe. We'll need your help to execute it. Over the next few days, the animal rescue squad worked tirelessly with Barley and her team. Noah used his technology to set up surveillance cameras around the elephants' watering holes, while Sophie helped the rangers study the local plants to understand how the elephants were feeding. Leo, with his bravery and quick thinking, volunteered to help patrol the area at night. I may be small, but I can move fast and quietly, he said, determined to play his part. The team's hard work paid off. One evening, the cameras caught footage of the poachers moving toward a herd of elephants. The children, along with Barley and her team, sprang into action. Using their knowledge of the land and their quick reflexes, they managed to stop the poachers before they could harm the elephants. As they watched the herd of elephants peacefully graze under the setting sun, Ella felt a deep sense of accomplishment. We've made a difference, she said quietly. But there's still so much to do, Sophie added. The savanna, the rainforest, the oceans, they all need our help. Their next mission took them to the Arctic, where polar bears were facing the harsh realities of climate change. The ice was melting faster than ever, and the polar bears were struggling to find food and shelter. The animal rescue squad, bundled up in thick coats, arrived in the icy wilderness, ready to help. They teamed up with local scientists who were studying the effects of climate change on the Arctic ecosystem. Ella, Noah, Sophie, and Leo worked tirelessly to track the polar bears, studying their movements and helping to guide them to areas where they could find food. They learned about the delicate balance of life in the Arctic and how even small changes in temperature could have devastating effects on the animals that lived there. One evening, as they huddled around a campfire, Leo spoke up. "We've seen so many amazing animals on our adventures, but they are all in danger. It makes me sad to think about what could happen if we don't act." Ella placed a hand on his shoulder. "That's why we're here. We're doing everything we can to help, and we're learning along the way. Every mission we complete, every animal we save, brings us one step closer to protecting our planet." Noah nodded thoughtfully. "We can't do it alone, though. We need to inspire others to join the cause. If everyone cared about the environment and the animals as much as we do, the world would be a better place." Sophie smiled. "And that's exactly what we'll do. We'll share our stories, teach others about conservation, and show them that even small actions can make a big difference." And so, the Animal Rescue Squad continued their journey, traveling to every corner of the globe to help animals in need. From the dense jungles of Southeast Asia to the coral reefs of the Pacific Ocean, they encountered incredible creatures and learned invaluable lessons about conservation, ecosystems, and the importance of preserving the natural world. With each mission, they grew stronger and more determined. They knew that the battle to save endangered animals was far from over, but they were ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they inspired children everywhere to care for the planet and protect its precious wildlife, one animal at a time. The end.
Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into la la land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into la land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into the la land on gentle feet.
Rosie and the Rainbow School. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between the rolling hills and the vast forests, lived a curious little girl named Rosie. She had sparkling blue eyes, a heart full of wonder, and an imagination that soared higher than the clouds. Every day, she would gaze out at the horizon, dreaming of adventures that lay beyond her home. She had heard whispers from the village elders about a magical place called the Rainbow School. A school where children didn't just learn from books but from the colors of the world itself. Rose's heart beat faster whenever she thought of the Rainbow School. One evening, as the sun began to set and cast a vibrant orange hue across the sky, Rose's mother shared a story about the school. "It's a special place where colors come alive, and each one teaches you something different about life," her mother explained, her voice soft with nostalgia. Rosie was intrigued. "Can I go there, Mama?" she asked eagerly. Her mother smiled mysteriously. "Only those who are ready, Rosie. And one day, you will know when the time comes." That night, Rosie dreamed of a brilliant rainbow stretching from the hills to the heavens, with a grand school at the end of it. The dream felt so real, so vivid, that when Rosie woke up the next morning, she wasn't surprised to see a faint shimmer of rainbow light glowing on her windowsill. Without hesitation, she followed the light. To her astonishment, the light led her out of the village through the forest, and up the tallest hill. There, at the top, stood a magnificent building bathed in every color of the rainbow. Its towers sparkled in reds, oranges, yellows, greens, blues, indigos, and violets. This was it, the Rainbow School. Rose's heart raced with excitement and a little bit of fear. She stepped inside and was greeted by the headmistress, a gentle woman named Miss Iris. Miss Iris had hair that shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow and eyes that seemed to understand every secret the world held. "Welcome, Rosie," Miss Iris said kindly. "I see you found your way here. At Rainbow School, each color will teach you a valuable lesson. You'll attend a class for each one, and by the end, you'll understand more about the world and yourself than you ever imagined." Rosie nodded, feeling both eager and a little nervous. "What will I learn first?" she asked. Miss Iris smiled warmly. "Your first class will be in the Red Room, where you'll learn about courage." And so, Rose's journey at the Rainbow School began. The Red Class, the lesson of courage. The Red Room was vibrant and energetic. As soon as Rosie stepped inside, she felt a surge of warmth wash over her. The walls were painted in deep shades of crimson and scarlet, and the air seemed to hum with excitement. In the center of the room stood a large lion, his mane as red as fire, his golden eyes filled with wisdom. "Welcome to the Red Class," the lion said in a deep, calming voice. "I am Leo, and today, I will teach you about courage." Rosie looked up at Leo, her heart fluttering in her chest. "Courage?" she asked. "But I'm not brave like a lion." Leo chuckled softly. "Courage isn't about never being afraid, Rosie. It's about doing what's right, even when you're scared." The room suddenly shifted, and Rosie found herself standing in the middle of a dense forest. Dark shadows danced between the trees, and strange noises echoed in the distance. Rosie felt her legs tremble, but Leo's voice echoed in her mind. "Courage, Rosie." A path appeared before her, winding through the dark woods. Rosie took a deep breath and stepped forward, her heart pounding. As she walked, the shadows seemed to grow taller, and the sounds grew louder. But with every step, Rosie whispered to herself, "I can do this." Soon, the trees parted, and Rosie emerged into a beautiful clearing, bathed in sunlight. The fear that had gripped her heart faded away, replaced by a sense of pride. She had faced her fear and made it through the woods. Back in the Red Room, Leo smiled. "You've learned the first lesson, Rosie. Courage isn't the absence of fear, but the strength to keep going despite it." Rosie beamed with pride. "Thank you, Leo," she said. She felt stronger now, ready for whatever came next. The Orange Class, the lesson of creativity. After the Red Room, Miss Iris guided Rosie to the next class, the Orange Room. The moment she stepped inside, Rosie was enveloped by a warm, glowing light. The room was filled with vibrant orange hues, and everywhere she looked, there were brushes, paints, and blank canvases waiting to be filled with color. At the center of the room stood a lively fox, her fur a brilliant shade of orange. She was busily mixing paints, her eyes twinkling with mischief and excitement. "Hello, Rosie," the fox said, her voice quick and full of energy. "I'm Faye, and in the Orange Room, we learn all about creativity." Rosie looked around at the canvases, unsure where to start. "But I don't know how to paint," she admitted. Faye laughed, shaking her head. "Creativity isn't just about painting, Rosie. It's about using your imagination to solve problems, to think differently, and to see the world in new ways." The room began to shimmer, and suddenly Rosie found herself in a colorful forest where the trees were purple. The sky was green, and the rivers ran with golden water. "This place is so strange," Rosie exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder. "It's not strange, Rosie. It's different," Faye said, hopping beside her. "Creativity means embracing what's different, what's unexpected." As Rosie explored the magical forest, she noticed a tree that was missing its leaves. Without thinking, she grabbed a brush and began to paint colorful leaves on the tree, using her imagination to bring it to life. The tree responded, its branches stretching toward the sky, glowing with vibrant colors. Faye clapped her paws together. "That's the spirit, Rosie. Creativity is about seeing what could be, not just what is." Back in the Orange Room, Rosie smiled as she looked at the blank canvases. "I understand now," she said. "Creativity is about letting your imagination lead the way." The Yellow Class, the lesson of positivity. From the warmth of the orange room, Rosie moved on to the cheerful yellow room. The moment she entered, Rosie was greeted by a bright, glowing light that filled her with a sense of joy. The room was painted in shades of yellow, from the soft hue of buttercups to the brilliant shine of the sun. A small, chubby honeybee named Buzz hovered in the air, buzzing happily around. Noah nodded. The deforestation, pollution, and illegal activities are still out there. We need to keep fighting. Sophie smiled, her eyes full of determination. And we will. As long as we work together, we can protect the animals and the planet. Their next adventure took them to the savannas of Africa, where they were called to help a group of elephants that were being threatened by poachers. The children were excited to see the wide, open plains and the majestic animals that roamed there, but they knew the dangers were real. When they arrived in Africa, they were greeted by a wildlife ranger named Bali, who told them about the situation. The poachers have been targeting our elephants for their tusks, she explained. We've lost several elephants already, and we fear more will be killed if we don't stop them. The children felt a deep sense of urgency. Elephants were not only endangered, but they were also a keystone species, meaning that their presence was vital to the health of the entire savanna ecosystem. We need to protect them, Ella said, her voice firm. We'll do whatever it takes. Barley nodded. I knew I could count on you. We've set up a plan to track the poachers and keep the elephants safe. We'll need your help to execute it. Over the next few days, the animal rescue squad worked tirelessly with Barley and her team. Noah used his technology to set up surveillance cameras around the elephants' watering holes, while Sophie helped the rangers study the local plants to understand how the elephants were feeding. Leo, with his bravery and quick thinking, volunteered to help patrol the area at night. I may be small, but I can move fast and quietly, he said, determined to play his part. The team's hard work paid off. One evening, the cameras caught footage of the poachers moving toward a herd of elephants. The children, along with Mbali and her team, sprang into action. Using their knowledge of the land and their quick reflexes, they managed to stop the poachers before they could harm the elephants. As they watched the herd of elephants peacefully graze under the setting sun, Ella felt a deep sense of accomplishment. We've made a difference, she said quietly. But there's still so much to do, Sophie added. The savanna, the rainforest, the oceans, they all need our help. Their next mission took them to the Arctic, where polar bears were facing the harsh realities of climate change. The ice was melting faster than ever, and the polar bears were struggling to find food and shelter. The animal rescue squad, bundled up in thick coats, arrived in the icy wilderness, ready to help. They teamed up with local scientists who were studying the effects of climate change on the Arctic ecosystem. Ella, Noah, Sophie, and Leo worked tirelessly to track the polar bears, studying their movements and helping to guide them to areas where they could find food. They learned about the delicate balance of life in the Arctic and how even small changes in temperature could have devastating effects on the animals that live there. One evening, as they huddled around a campfire, Leo spoke up. We've seen so many amazing animals on our adventures, but they are all in danger. It makes me sad to think about what could happen if we don't act. Ella placed a hand on his shoulder. That's why we're here. We're doing everything we can to help, and we're learning along the way. Every mission we complete, every animal we save, brings us one step closer to protecting our planet. Noah nodded thoughtfully. We can't do it alone, though. We need to inspire others to join the cause. If everyone cared about the environment and the animals as much as we do, the world would be a better place. Sophie smiled. And that's exactly what we'll do. We'll share our stories, teach others about conservation, and show them that even small actions can make a big difference. And so, the Animal Rescue Squad continued their journey, traveling to every corner of the globe to help animals in need. From the dense jungles of Southeast Asia to the coral reefs of the Pacific Ocean, they encountered incredible creatures and learned invaluable lessons about conservation, ecosystems, and the importance of preserving the natural world. With each mission, they grew stronger and more determined. They knew that the battle to save endangered animals was far from over, but they were ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they inspired children everywhere to care for the planet and protect its precious wildlife, one animal at a time. The end.
Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales where the magic's told. whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drifting to the land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drifting to the land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drifting to the land on gentle feet.
The Sky Explorers. In a quiet town nestled between rolling hills and towering forests, lived a group of children with hearts full of curiosity and a deep love for adventure. These children were known as the Sky Explorers, for they weren't satisfied with ordinary adventures on land or in the woods. Their dreams soared higher, above the treetops, beyond the mountains, and into the endless sky. This group of friends consisted of Emma, a bright girl fascinated by science; Leo, who loved to sketch everything he saw; Felix, a boy with a head full of facts about the weather; and Sophie, who had a deep connection to nature and animals. Together, they sought to understand the wonders of the sky, and one summer afternoon, they were about to embark on an adventure that would change their lives forever. It all began with a mysterious discovery in Emma's grandfather's attic. It was a warm summer evening, and the four friends had gathered in Emma's house, flipping through old books and maps. The attic was dimly lit, but it had a comforting scent of old paper and wood. As Emma carefully moved a stack of ancient books, she uncovered something extraordinary: a large, intricate compass unlike any they had ever seen. It wasn't just any ordinary compass. Its surface shimmered with symbols that none of them recognized. "What is it?" Felix asked, leaning closer, his eyes wide with fascination. Emma held it up to the light, her fingers brushing over the engraved lines. "I don't know, but it's beautiful." Leo squinted at it and then gasped, "Wait, there's something written here. To those who dare to explore the skies." Sophie stepped closer. "Maybe it's some kind of map or key." They all exchanged excited glances. Could this compass hold the key to unlocking the mysteries of the sky? Emma turned it over, and as soon as she did, the compass began to hum softly, and a faint glow filled the room. Suddenly, the attic windows flung open, and a gust of wind swept through the space, filling it with a strange, electrifying energy. The wind seemed to carry with it the whispers of the sky, and then the compass emitted a beam of light that shot into the air, forming a swirling portal made of clouds and shimmering stars. Leo gasped, This is amazing." Without hesitation, the friends grabbed hands and stepped forward into the portal. A powerful gust lifted them off the ground, and in an instant, they found themselves floating in a vast, open sky. The world below was far away, and above them was an endless expanse of clouds, colors, and lights. Their journey as the Sky Explorers had begun. The first thing they noticed as they soared through the sky was how soft the clouds were. They weren't just mist, they felt like fluffy pillows beneath their feet. The sky around them wasn't just blue, it was filled with swirling shades of purple, pink, and gold. "This is incredible," Sophie exclaimed, her voice filled with wonder. "We're actually walking on clouds." Leo laughed in disbelief as he bounced lightly on the cloud beneath him. "This is like something out of a dream." But Felix, always the practical one, was already looking around with sharp eyes. "If we're in the sky, we need to understand how it works. There's so much to learn about weather, climate, and the atmosphere." Emma nodded, adjusting her glasses. "You're right," Felix, we need to explore every part of the sky if we're going to understand it fully. Before they could plan their next move, a deep rumble echoed in the distance. The clouds ahead began to darken, and the wind picked up speed. A storm was brewing. Looks like we're about to get our first lesson, Leo said, his voice trembling slightly. The friends huddled together as the sky around them turned into a stormy gray. Lightning crackled in the distance, and the sound of thunder rumbled through the air. As they flew closer to the storm, they could feel the power of the wind pushing them back. But something else caught their attention. Something in the heart of the storm that seemed almost alive. Shapes of swirling energy danced within the clouds, and suddenly, a giant figure emerged. A majestic creature made entirely of lightning and wind. Who dares to enter the storm realm? The figure boomed. Emma took a step forward, her voice steady despite the storm. We are the Sky Explorers. We seek to understand the sky and its mysteries. Who are you? The figure's eyes glowed with the intensity of 1,000 lightning bolts. I am Zephyra, guardian of the storms. If you wish to learn the secrets of the skies, you must first pass my test. Felix stepped forward, his curiosity overpowering his fear. What is the test? Zephyra's voice crackled like thunder. You must navigate the heart of the storm, where the winds are wild and the lightning fierce. Only then will you earn the knowledge of the weather's power. The friends exchanged nervous glances, but their determination was stronger than their fear. Together, they nodded in agreement. We're ready, said Emma. As they ventured into the storm, the sky roared with intensity. Wind whipped around them, lightning illuminated the clouds, and the rain began to fall in heavy sheets. It was both terrifying and exhilarating. Felix, ever the weather enthusiast, yelled over the storm. This is a perfect example of how storms form. When warm, moist air rises and cools, it condenses into clouds, and, less talking, more focusing. Leo interrupted, dodging a flash of lightning. Sophie, ever calm in the face of danger, guided them forward with a serene focus. Stay close to each other. We can do this. With every step they took deeper into the storm, they could feel the raw energy of the atmosphere around them. The lightning danced like wild creatures, and the wind seemed alive, testing their strength and courage. But despite the chaos, they pressed on, working as a team, learning how to move with the wind rather than against it. Finally, after what felt like hours, they reached the eye of the storm, a calm, serene place where the sky was perfectly clear. They stood in awe as the clouds around them swirled in perfect harmony. You have passed the test, Zephyra's voice boomed from above, though it was now calm and full of respect. You have learned the power of the storm and the importance of balance in the weather. As a reward, Zephyra gifted them with a shimmering orb that represented the power of the storm, a symbol of their newfound knowledge. With that, the storm guardian vanished, leaving the friends to continue their journey. As they moved on, the Sky Explorers marveled at how much they had learned from their first adventure. They had experienced the storm's fury and gained a deeper understanding of how weather worked. But the sky was vast, and there was still so much more to explore. Their next destination was something entirely different, a place of beauty and wonder, the Rainbow Realm. As they soared higher into the sky, the dark storm clouds began to fade, and a brilliant arch of color appeared before them. The rainbow stretched across the sky like a bridge of light, shimmering in hues of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. It's beautiful, Sophie whispered, her eyes wide with amazement. Emma nodded, her scientific mind already racing with questions. Rainbows form when light is refracted and reflected through water droplets. But this feels magical. As they approached the rainbow, they noticed that it wasn't just a trick of light. The colors were alive, swirling and shifting as if they were made of pure energy. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the heart of the rainbow, a graceful, shimmering being with wings made of light. I am Iris, guardian of the rainbow, she said, her voice soft like a breeze. You have traveled through the storm and learned its power. Now, you must learn the lesson of harmony and beauty in the sky. Leo, ever the artist, was captivated by the colors. This is incredible. How can we learn from something so perfect? Iris smiled. The rainbow teaches us that even after the darkest storm, there is beauty and balance. Each color represents a part of nature, and together, they create something whole. As they explored the rainbow, Iris guided them through each color, explaining its connection to the world below. Red represented the heat of the sun, while blue symbolized the calming waters of the ocean. Each hue had its own significance, and together, they formed a perfect balance. The sky explorers felt a deep sense of peace as they walked through the colors, understanding that the sky wasn't just a place of storms and power. It was also a place of beauty and harmony. Their journey continued, taking them to new realms in the sky, each with its own guardian and lesson to teach. They soared through the northern skies, where they witnessed the stunning aurora borealis, learning about the magnetic forces that shaped the lights. They traveled to the stratosphere, where they encountered the icy winds of the upper atmosphere and learned about climate and the delicate balance of Earth's temperature. Through each adventure, the sky explorers grew closer as friends and gained a deeper understanding of the world above. They learned that the sky wasn't just something to admire, it was a living, breathing system that connected all life on Earth. After many months of exploring, they returned to their quiet town, forever changed by the knowledge they had gained. They knew that their adventure wasn't over. There would always be more mysteries to uncover, both in the sky and beyond. And as they lay in bed each night, they dreamed of the clouds, the storms, the rainbows, and the stars, knowing that they had become true explorers of the sky. The end.
Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into la la land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into la land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into the la land on gentle feet.
Maya and the Garden of Life. Maya always loved visiting her grandmother's house. It wasn't just because of the delicious cookies or the warm hugs, although those were wonderful too. What Maya loved most was her grandmother's garden, a place that seemed to be alive with magic. The garden was no ordinary patch of land. It was a place where time slowed down, where every leaf, every petal, every drop of dew held a secret waiting to be discovered. The garden had been passed down through generations, each tending to it with care, and now it was Maya's turn to learn its wonders. But little did Maya know that this garden was not just a beautiful place to explore. It was also the key to understanding how all of nature works together, a living, breathing ecosystem. One warm spring afternoon, Maya's grandmother, whom she affectionately called Nana, invited her out into the garden. "Maya, my dear, it's time you learned the secrets of the Garden of Life," Nana said, her voice full of mystery and excitement. "This garden is special. It can teach you about life itself if you're willing to listen." Maya's eyes widened in curiosity. "What do you mean, Nana?" Nana smiled. "Each part of this garden has a story to tell, about how plants grow, how insects help them, and how everything in nature is connected. We'll start with the seeds, the life cycle of plants." Nana knelt down next to a row of tiny sprouting plants. "Look here, Maya," she said, pointing to the soil. "These little sprouts were once just seeds, hidden beneath the earth. Maya bent down to examine the delicate green shoots. But how do they turn into plants? She asked. Nana's eyes twinkled. Ah, that's the magic of life. Every seed holds within it the potential to grow into something much bigger, just like how you're growing up. But for that to happen, the seed needs water, sunlight, and nutrients from the soil. Over time, it grows roots that dig deep into the earth and stems that reach for the sky. Maya watched the tiny plants with awe. It's like they are waking up from a long sleep. Exactly, Nana said with a laugh. The garden has its own rhythm. And do you know what else helps these plants grow? Maya shook her head. Insects, Nana said. But we'll get to that soon. For now, let's plant a seed of our own. Nana handed Maya a small packet of sunflower seeds, and together they dug a tiny hole in the soil. Now, gently place the seed inside, Nana instructed. Maya carefully dropped the seed into the earth, and they covered it with soil. Now we water it, Nana said, handing Maya a small watering can. And with a little patience, this seed will grow into a tall, strong sunflower. As they water the seed, Nana explained, this is just the beginning of the life cycle of a plant. It starts as a seed, grows into a sprout, becomes a plant, and eventually creates more seeds, continuing the cycle. Pollination, the dance of bees and flowers. A few days later, Nana took Maya to a bed of brightly colored flowers. The air was filled with a soft buzzing of bees darting from bloom to bloom. Bees! Maya exclaimed, watching them in fascination. What are they doing? They are busy at work, helping the flowers, Nana explained. This is called pollination, one of the most important processes in the garden. Pollination, Maya repeated, trying to understand. Nana nodded. You see, flowers need bees to help them make seeds. When a bee lands on a flower, it picks up pollen, which is like flower dust. When the bee flies to another flower, it drops some of that pollen, allowing the flower to create seeds. It's a partnership. The bee gets food, and the flower gets to grow new plants. Maya watched as the bees flitted from flower to flower. So the bees are helping the flowers grow. Yes, Nana said. And without bees, many plants wouldn't be able to grow at all. It's another way that nature works together. The underground world of composting. As the summer sun began to rise higher in the sky, Nana brought Maya over to a dark, earthy-smelling pile in the corner of the garden. This, Nana said with a smile, is compost. Maya wrinkled her nose. It smells funny. What's compost? Compost is nature's way of recycling, Nana explained. When plants, leaves, or food scraps break down, they turn into compost. That compost is full of nutrients that help new plants grow strong. It's like giving the soil a healthy meal. Maya bent down to examine the pile. She saw bits of leaves, vegetable peels, and even some old flowers mixed into the rich, dark earth. So this is all turning into food for the plants. Exactly, Nana said. Nothing in nature is wasted. Even when plants die, they give back to the soil, which helps new life grow. Nana handed Maya a small shovel. Want to help me turn the compost? It's important to keep it moving so that everything breaks down evenly. Maya eagerly grabbed the shovel, digging into the pile with enthusiasm. As she worked, she could feel the heat rising from the compost, a sign that everything was breaking down just as it should. The helpers of the garden, worms, ants, and ladybugs. One day, as Maya was exploring the garden, she noticed tiny creatures crawling all over the soil. Worms wriggled in the dirt, ants marched in neat lines, and ladybugs dotted the leaves. Nana, look at all these bugs, Maya called out. Nana smiled and joined her. Ah, yes? These are the garden's little helpers. Helpers? Maya asked, surprised. But aren't bugs bad for plants? Not all of them, Nana said. Some bugs can harm plants, but many are very helpful. Worms, for example, are wonderful for the soil. They dig tunnels, which allow air and water to reach the roots of plants. Ants help by cleaning up dead insects and fallen leaves. And ladybugs eat harmful pests like aphids. Maya watched as the ladybugs crawled over the leaves, and the ants carried tiny bits of food back to their colony. So they're all part of the garden too. Yes, Nana said, just like the plants, bees, and compost. Everything in the garden has a role to play. Nature is all about balance, and when everything works together, the garden thrives. The seasons, how the garden changes. As the days grew shorter and the air turned cooler, Maya noticed that the garden was changing. The flowers that once bloomed brightly began to wither, and the trees shed their leaves, covering the ground in a blanket of golden red. Nana, what's happening to the garden? Maya asked, a little sad to see the plants fading away. It's just the changing of the seasons, my dear, Nana said gently. In the fall, many plants go to sleep for the winter. But don't worry, when spring comes, the garden will come back to life. Maya looked around at the bay trees and empty flower beds. So everything will come back. Yes, Nana assured her. Just like how the plants grow from seeds, the garden follows the cycle of the seasons. In the winter, it rests, and in the spring, it blooms again. Maya smiled, feeling a little better. It's like the garden is taking a nap. Nana chuckled. Exactly. And when it wakes up, it will be more beautiful than ever. The web of life. How everything is connected. One evening, as the sun set and the garden was bathed in a golden glow, Nana sat with Maya on a bench overlooking the flowers, trees, and buzzing insects. Maya, do you know what the most important lesson of the garden is? Nana asked softly. Maya thought for a moment. That everything is connected. Nana nodded. That's right. The plants, the insects, the soil, the water, even the seasons. They all depend on each other. If one part of the garden is out of balance, the whole system can be affected. That's why it's so important to take care of nature, to respect the cycles and the creatures that live here. Maya looked around the garden with new eyes. She saw how the bees and flowers worked together, how the compost fed the soil, and how the worms helped the plants grow strong. She realized that even the tiniest creatures played a big role in the health of the garden. I understand, Nana, Maya said, her voice full of wonder. It's all connected. Nana smiled, her eyes twinkling. Yes, my dear. And by caring for the garden, you're also caring for the world around you. The garden's legacy. As the years passed, Maya continued to visit her grandmother's garden, learning more with each season. She helped plant new seeds in the spring, watched the bees dance among the flowers in the summer, turned the compost in the fall, and marveled at the quiet beauty of the garden in the winter. But the most important lesson Maya learned was that the garden wasn't just a place. It was a living, breathing reminder of how all life is connected. And as she grew older, she knew she would carry the wisdom of the garden with her, sharing its magic with others. One day, when she was older, Maya knew the garden would be hers to care for. And just like her grandmother before her, she would pass on its secrets to the next generation, ensuring that the garden of life would continue to thrive. The end.
Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into la land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into la land on gentle feet. Close your eyes, let the dreams unfold. Tales by tales, where the magic's told. Whispers of wonder, soft and sweet, drift into the la land on gentle feet.